Woody, Les, Ben Hochman of the Denver Post. Let's go right to Skype and bring in another gentleman who writes for an esteemed newspaper, the Boston Globe. Let's bring in Ben Volin, who writes about the NFL and the New England Patriots. Let's talk some draft. Hi, Ben. How are you?
What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Doing great. So, obviously, the Patriots win the Super Bowl. They're picking last in the first round, number 32. What are they thinking? What's the talk in New England about things there?
Yeah, I mean, I always express caution when trying to predict what Bill Belichick's going to do. No one ever really knows what's inside his head. That said, obviously at number 32, the draft can fall a million different ways. So I think you got to look at three different position groups. Defensive tackle is one area that they need to improve. They lost Vince Wilfork to Houston. Could use another big body in the middle of the defense. Guard, they certainly need a young guard on the offensive line. They had two aging veterans last year. Time to get a younger piece for the middle of the offensive line. And then obviously cornerback. They lost Darrelle Revis and Brandon Browner in free agency, where they decided to let both of them go and kind of start over at the position. Number 32 is a pretty good spot to find a good young cornerback that you can develop into your number one guy over the next few years.
That would seem to be been my situation, that you go out and there are going to be some cornerbacks that are verging on first and early second round, and that hasn't been a high priority in this draft. But you would think that would be a spot. But I saw in the last couple of days, and every rumor in the world is flying around, that we talked about a kid that has just been arrested for marijuana, and people are going to look at him as maybe an off-field problem. The Patriots have never been afraid of those, but we've also just gone through a situation where a former Patriots player was convicted of murder. Do you think if he fell that far that they would take a run at him?
That's a great question. I just wrote this morning for the Boston Globe that I don't think the Patriots are going to be taking a gamble on any player with significant red flags, certainly not with the number 32 pick, where you really have all kinds of options for where you want to go to get a talented player. I still see an organization that's smarting from the Aaron Hernandez tragedy. Robert Kraft was up there on the witness stand as a key witness in a murder trial, and I think he winces every time he hears the words former Patriot Aaron Hernandez, just being associated still with a guy who's been convicted of murder. So this is a team that's pretty much stayed clear of guys with red flags over the last 2 years. Not everyone's been a Boy Scout, but aside from a couple of guys who had marijuana issues, they've really stayed away from guys with character issues. Whereas, as you said before, they used to always take a gamble on a Randy Moss or an Albert Haynesworth, Corey Dillon. Usually it worked out for them, but I think this time they're going to steer clear of those guys, certainly in the earlier rounds. You have so many different options at 32. I just don't think they want to deal with any sort of headache, questions about why are you drafting this guy with red flags so soon after the Aaron Hernandez tragedy.
He's Ben Volin, and all live guests are brought to you by Papa John's, the official sponsor of the Colorado Rockies.
Well, Ben, you talked about some holes on their offensive line. One sturdy member of that offensive line is a guy we know really well, Nate Solder, a star from University of Colorado, and he had an amazing story that no one knew. They win the Super Bowl. You think there's always great stories. Only after do we find out that he had and beat testicular cancer. Can you share with our viewers what Nate Solder means to that program up there in New England and basically the kind of guy he is?
Sure, a very remarkable story. I mean, it's like Fort Knox over there at Gillette Stadium, that this thing could happen, and not until a year later does it come out. But I guess last offseason, Nate Solder, he was just doing a routine kind of check, and they found that he had testicular cancer. Now, he's very, bashful, shy about it. He doesn't want to make it seem like he overcame and he beat cancer. He said they caught it very early, and they just kind of removed the testicle in question, and he didn't undergo chemotherapy or anything of that nature. However, it's pretty amazing what he was able to overcome, and he didn't always have the best season last year, but he kept his mouth shut and never made excuses for his play, and talked about what he went through in the off season. And he's just another steady, solid member of the organization, a good leader on the offensive line. Really developed into the leader with the departure of Logan Mankins last year, and he's a solid guy. They picked up his fifth-year option. He's playing under that this year. They're going to probably talk about a long-term extension for him as well. He's just been a steady performer, pretty solid player overall. They got him number 17, number 18 overall back in 2011, and he's been every bit as advertised for the Patriots.
I don't know how to do this transition where it's going to make any sense at all to both Bens, but we can't let this interview go by without talking about balls. And I mean, Deflategate. And I'm sorry to bring it up, and I really am. You don't want to talk about it. But this investigation is taking entirely too long. Robert Kraft is waiting for his apology. I mean, are you hearing anything up there about why the NFL? I mean, the Warren Commission report on the assassination of John F. Kennedy didn't take this long.
Woody, that was a seamless transition. That was very good, man. I think the NFL, frankly, they're being thorough. They want to make sure that they get this right, and I think they want to clean up the holes in their procedures for handling the footballs. Certainly, we found that the referees, they don't log the pressures before the game time. They don't usually check the balls at halftime. There was some rogue employees who was stealing the balls that were intended for charity and selling them for profit on his own, who's since been fired. There's a lot that the NFL needs to clean up. So I think they want to make sure they get their own house in order before they come out with this. But I also think that they're probably doing the Patriots a favor by kind of holding off. And the longer they wait, I think the less America cares about this story, and it just kind of gets buried, and people have kind of forgotten about it at this point. And not to mention, the draft this weekend, this is the last time that Bill Belichick really has to address the media, frankly, until minicamp in mid-June, or maybe not even until training camp in August. So if they release it after this weekend, Belichick then is not going to be subjected to questions about it, and they're not going to kind of put him up to as a sacrificial lamb to take all these questions and have it dominate the draft. So I think they're just kind of waiting on purpose, doing the Patriots a favor, because I think they found that certainly I don't think they found a smoking gun that would implicate the Patriots, and I think they found that there's a lot that they need to clean up between the referees and the ball handling procedures and the Colts and the league office. There's a lot that I think Deflategate is going to ensnare.
Well, and that's the way it should be. That moving forward, it's like in baseball, you entrust the balls to the umpires, and they rub them up with that dirt out of the river in New Jersey, and then they kind of take control of it. I've never understood why football. We're talking about a $12 billion business that they don't protect the footballs any better than that. It's just amazing, and it should be over with. Let's move on in life. Ben, we really look forward to you coming to Denver for a change.
Yes, that's right. I know you guys complain about the 3 straight games in Foxborough.
So, when looking at the Broncos' schedule, that they have a terrible November. In analyzing the Patriots' schedule this year, having coming off the Super Bowl, opening at home, the big opening game of the NFL, how would you look at where the Patriots stand in regard to the schedule? Because that is important. We just had an analytical experiment done by 2 professors at Buffalo about how some teams are screwed by the fact that they play teams that have a lot of the rest all the time. What would you say about the Patriots schedule? Because we feel like it's going to be the Patriots and the Broncos and the Colts that will be at the top of the list this year.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, certainly the Patriots and the Broncos. The Patriots' schedule is not that daunting, and a lot of that is just the natural rotation. They play the NFC East next year, and there's going to be some tough games. They have to go to Dallas early in the season, Week 5. That's going to be a phenomenal game. The Eagles come to town in December. Who knows what Chip Kelly's team is going to look like. The Giants are always a tough game. But then also the Patriots play the AFC South, so you get games like Jacksonville and Tennessee, Houston, not exactly the toughest opponents. There are some tough games. There's a night national TV game at Indianapolis. That's going to be phenomenal. I mean, Bill Belichick's going to have blood dripping from his teeth from, the whole Deflategate thing, and he's going to hang 70 points on the Colts. So that'll be a lot of fun. Obviously, the game at Denver is a huge game, and at Dallas. So they have some difficult road games for sure. But, and they end the season with 2 straight on the road. They play at Miami and at the Jets to end the season. A lot of that's because they're using Gillette Stadium for the Winter Classic on New Year's Day. So, the Patriots is not the toughest schedule, but they have some tough road games, and they do end the season on the road.
Hey, Ben, we were debating this earlier. Is Tom Brady unequivocally, unquestionably a better quarterback heading into the season than Peyton Manning is, in your opinion?
I mean, I think so.
We all think
You know-
so. We're all in agreement, Ben.
Yeah, Tom Brady's not showing the signs of age that Peyton Manning has.
Right.
And Peyton Manning, he's going to look great in August and September. He's going to start the season off well, but you just don't know if he's going to be able to make it through the season. Whereas, Tom Brady, I think, has taken better care of his body over the years. There was some talk before last season that maybe he was starting to decline, but I think he put all that talk to rest last year in his Super Bowl season. It's not like he's getting dead in the legs and showing weakness in the arm. Tom Brady, he eats a lot of that avocado ice cream and plans out his workouts 3 years in advance. So, he's 37 going 38, but he doesn't look that way. He looks a lot younger and plays that way.
Yeah,
so.
but you guys up there need to say to him, do not be jumping off cliffs.
Right.
Yeah.
What was that?
All right, Ben.
Yeah.
Joe Montana.
Well, someone said, I'll allow him. He can eat vanilla ice cream as long as he just doesn't, jump off the cliff so often.
Right.
Ben, Joe
I guess it
Mont-
was safe.
Joe-
I guess he wouldn't have done it if it wasn't safe.
I thought the person that was going to jump off the cliff after the season was the coach of the Seattle Seahawks.
Or less right now since he can't get his question
Tom
out.
Brady or Joe Montana? Who you got? Greatest ever.
I'm probably going with Tom Brady.
yeah, you
Just-
have to, don't you?
Daryl LaMonica, boys. Daryl LaMonica.
Yeah, he's done it over a longer period of time, and in the salary cap era. I mean, Tom Brady. It's you're splitting hairs here. I'd be happy with either one, but I'd probably go with
No,
Tom.
I'd be happier with Tom Brady. He's 6 Super Bowls, and is it not 6? And Montana 4. And
He's
they both
played in
won,
6 and he's won
they
4,
both
yeah.
won 4. And Brady is going to have he's going to break Peyton Manning's most of Peyton Manning's records after Peyton breaks Favre's record. So I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that anymore. It's Tom Brady.
Okay, I guess that's settled.
Yeah, but if
Ben,
Malcolm Butler doesn't make that interception, he doesn't win the Super Bowl.
Ben, appreciate your time, man, and we'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, thanks a lot.
All
guys.
right, that's Ben
Thanks, guys.
Volin of the Boston Globe. Go to thebostonglobe.com and
go to
read
his,
Ben.
go to his
His Twitter feed
Twitter,
as
but
well.
we don't know what it is.
Hey, that segment brought to you by Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village. It's Colorado's #1 volume Lexus dealer, conveniently located right off the freeway at I-25 in Bellevue. You can view current specials and a large selection of new and certified pre-owned vehicles at Cooney Lexus of GreenwoodVillage.com.